Hello everyone, welcome to class series, and in this video we're gonna be learning the short summary of the poem Do Not Ask of Me, My Love. Faiz is said to have recited this poem in a mushairiya. It depicts the struggle going on in Faiz's heart between love and patriotism. In this poem, he abjures romantic love of the beloved for a contemplation of the misery of the world. The poem is a landmark for it leads phase to the consideration of the misery he saw around him related to the freedom struggle in his homeland. The poem can be read in the two parts. The first begins with a couplet or a two-line stanza is followed by two longer stanzas. In this part, the poet addresses his beloved. He asks his beloved not to expect the kind of love that he had once showed her. In the next stanza, he narrates and describes the way he had viewed life. In that stage of his life looked very young and blooming because of his love for his beloved. Since his beloved was the source of his happiness in his life, he could not withstand any kind of sufferings affecting his beloved. The poet says that the beauty of his beloved bestowed everlasting youth on the spring. He says that the eyes of his beloved was everything to him, and everything failed to please him then. Therefore, when he was in the company of his beloved, he had thought that the world was his. But in the second half of the stanza, the poet confesses that such an idea was an illusion born out of his imagination. Now he has come to realize that there are other agonies of the world besides the agonies of love, and there are other kind of solace in addition to the solace of love. In the second part, he elucidates the agonies and other kinds of solace in addition to the solace of love that demands his attention. The second part begins with the same couplet asking his beloved not to expect the same kind of love that he had for her once. In the next stanza, he lists those agonies that demand his attention. They are savagery, woven in silk and satin and gold lace, which are dark curses of the countless ages, and human bodies sold in the street and marketplace and besmeared in blood. They also demand his attention. He says that even though her beauty compels his attention, there are other kinds of bliss besides the bliss of her beauty. He concludes the second part again with the same couplet asking his beloved not to demand the same kind of attention that once he had for his beloved. In this poem, the word beloved can be interpreted as his muse, his country, or his concept of beauty or a social change. The poem is said to be Faiz's first experiment with blending love for the beloved into love for humanity, of turning the pain of separation into pain for all those who suffered under the dark, bestial spells of uncounted centuries. In the second stanza, he is obviously referring to slavery, slave trade, and prostitution.